and our weekly video segment to take you into the back shelves of your local video store, back where it says horror videos, and where kids are devouring some awful films that we call the video nasties.
Are you freebasing? Inquiring minds want to know.
I have to break free from this culture of mechanical reproductions and the thick incrustations dying on the surface.
Fuck the prime time, bitch!
Monmouth in the flesh.
The pain, I can assure you, will be exquisite. As for our deaths, come with me and be immortal.
We have such sights to show you.
Gotta return some videotapes.
Hello, horror hounds, and welcome to another creepy episode of It Slays Podcast. I'm your humble host, Rowan.
I'm a glass of milk and bourbon, Mike.
And it's Gill.
And we are back, and we are Coltonless. It's that time of the year. If you listen to, you're a regular listener for years, Colton's getting back into the swing of things with his real job that pays him real money and not just street cred for being on the It Slays podcast. So, unfortunately, we have to, allow that to happen. But I'm sure we'll manage without him. We know where we're going to start. Let's get into it because I feel like this is going to be a hefty episode. We're going to get into it. What have we been consuming? What have we been watching? What have we been listening to? What have we been reading? All that good stuff. Jill, we're going to start with you this week.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while.
It's been a long time. Yeah, I only saw one thing, I think, since the last time.
I like how you made it sound like you were going to have like this huge list.
Well, I have a stack of books.
Oh,
you do?
Which I just showed to the camera, but I only watched one movie, and it's kind of embarrassing because I was supposed to be on the Now Slaying episode for Until Dawn, and then I got the time zone wrong, so I didn't make the episode.
Which is funny because you also did that tonight.
Yeah, and also we are recording late. It's Wednesday. We usually record on Sunday, but my internet went out for like 3 days, so yeah, I couldn't watch movies or anything either. All I could do was read. So that's why I have a stack of books. Anyway, so Until Dawn, I thought it was fun. I thought it was unserious. It was a good popcorn flick, I guess. And you know what you're getting early on in the movie, what kind of movie it is. I thought the kills were creative and well done. I've never played the game, but I could clearly see how the movie is video game based. And it took me back to the Black Mirror episode playtest.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Strong vibes of that, like kind of being in this spooky house, but playing a game and just kind of repeating the same stuff over and over. And playtest is actually my favorite episode of Black Mirror. So already I like the vibes of this movie. And also it heavily reminded me of early 2000s video game horror movies like Silent Hill, Resident Evil, and Stay Alive.
House of the Dead.
House of the Dead.
I don't know that one. I've never seen
Oh my
that.
God, you need to see it. It's awful.
I feel like it's kind
But
of
like good.
out of vogue now. Like I know that's like really like it's like a hard movie to buy and stuff. Like just because it's like out of print, I don't think you can get like anything for it.
The funny thing is that nobody like the game was wildly popular, but it was one of those like Jill. I know you must have seen it. It was one of those old
every movie
arcade.
Theater. Yeah.
Yeah, it was one of those like old arcade games where you're on rails and you stand up with the gun in front of the big screen and it just moves you through each room and you're like shooting zombies and shit. You know what I'm talking about? And you like reload your gun. Oh my God, have you never?
Great.
Okay, well,
do you know
so
where
it's
I
not
grew
even
up?
It's not even like a real video. Well, it is a real video game, but it's not like a video game with like a story as such. It's like an arcade game that you just sort of like. So they made a movie out of it, which was even less substantial than the fucking arcade game.
Wow. My favorite arcade game is Burger Time.
Oh, that's a good one.
That's a good one. But yeah, didn't get to play that one.
I feel like the best one is two Long Forgotten ones, which are Area 51, which was also like a gun game, and I think I played it in a movie theater, but it got like a PS1 version, I think. And another game that got a PS1 version, which is Revolution X, which was also a
my
gun
God.
game, but it featured the music of Aerosmith, and Aerosmith were in the game.
Hell yeah. That sounds awful, and I love it.
It is.
Before Jill moves on, I want
Yes.
us all to say our favorite arcade game.
Didn't we
already
just do
went-
that?
I'm just curious. I need to know. I want to know what everyone's like favorite arcade game.
Burger time.
Okay, so that is your favorite. Okay, Ro, what about you?
It's tough. It might be Revolution X. Either that or there's the one that, one person like shoots and one person drives and they're like cops in Miami or something. I can't remember what it was called, but it's like a classic.
Okay.
It's probably Revolution
well.
X. I used to kill it when I was a kid.
What's yours, Mike?
Mine is X-Men.
Oh,
Okay.
that's a good
X-Men
one
arcade
too.
game.
Yeah, that's a great one.
Followed very closely by Crazy Taxi because I fucking love
I
Crazy
was
Taxi.
just gonna ask you about that.
Yeah.
I started playing that at the barcade here. That's like
Nice.
the one game I always go to. Yeah.
It's so fun. See, we used to play it. My best friend had a Dreamcast when we were kids, and so you could like burn off games for that. So he literally bought like 2 games and then just burned off 100. And we would just spend every fucking weekend in his basement playing Burned Off. And one of our favorites, like when we were quote unquote drinking, and before we actually started, obviously illicitly drinking alcohol, we used to just drink like
Drink and drive.
like hard soda. We would drink, just like this really sugary soda, and we get right hopped up on caffeine and sugar and play Crazy Taxi and listen to music. And so I was like making playlists last year based on like what music we used to be listening to, and that was really fun. But also,
give us one song.
Believe by Antelope.
Okay.
It's kind of like trancey, housey sort of stuff.
Checks out.
But we used to play it so much that we made up names for every character that you pick up in Crazy Taxi.
God.
So like Catherine Trammell, we used to love watching Basic Instinct, so we named the lady with the blonde hair looked like Sharon Stone, Catherine Trammell. And shit like that. I'm not going to say the rest of it because some of them
Colton's
definitely
gonna
haven't
listen
aged
to
well.
this, and he's gonna be like, "What the fuck have you guys done?"
One day soon, I think I'm gonna go through like the Crazy Taxi wiki and like do a group chat with specifically the 3 of us that used to name the characters and be like, okay, we need to remember what we called every one of these people. But anyway, sorry, I completely derailed that, but I just wanted to know everyone's like arcade.
This is exactly
history.
what happens every time Colton doesn't make an episode. Is we get like Jill trailing off, me mumbling, Mike just going unchecked stories for a long amount of time, just always off the rails.
Listen,
I enjoyed
rails
that.
are overrated. Yeah,
that was fun, and Crazy Taxi is the best. But yeah, Until Dawn reminded me of those horror movies based off of video games in the early 2000s. I think, so I said Resident Evil, Silent Hill, and Stay Alive. I was a big fan of Stay Alive. And then also, more importantly, it reminded me of American McGee's Alice and Alice Madness Returns.
Literally one of the best video games of all time.
Yeah.
All 3 of us are on board.
Yeah.
With that.
Remake when? Like, I need it now.
I bought, I think the Madness Returns, just to shout out, whenever I get a chance to shout it out. I'm pretty sure I bought my copy for the PS3 and bought it at Traders.
Hell yeah. It's on Steam, too, if you can play on PC.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah. I did that when I moved back home a long time ago, and yeah, it was fantastic. I freaking love those games, and the reason why Until Dawn reminded me of it so much is like the unreliable narrator who's like going through psychosis, and then the villain being a psychiatrist or whatever who's manipulating them. So yeah, really similar actually. But yeah, freaking banger of a game.
Oh yeah, great story, like great atmosphere, great gameplay.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, horror lover's delight.
I can't remember what game I was playing. Like I was playing that, and then at the same time, I was playing this other zombie one that you're like a cheerleader in a high school, and you have
Lollipop Chainsaw.
Yeah, Lollipop Chainsaw.
Yeah, they just released a remaster of that I used to own that. Didn't I? I think I gave that to you on PS3.
I think
Remember
you,
when
I think you might have.
I literally, when I got my PS4, I donated an entire box of PS3 games to Rowan.
Yeah,
awesome.
I'm pretty sure
I definitely,
you
and
did.
that was in there because I owned it. Yeah, so that was
You would be
Lollipop
into it,
Chainsaw.
Jill, because I'm pretty sure that game was the first time I actually ever heard "Bring Me the Horizon," because it's all just like punk music, like pop punk music.
Mm-hmm.
Great
Cool.
game, great game.
Nice.
Yeah, it is.
Sorry, Jill.
All right. It's fine. That was the only movie I watched, so we'll just get into the books. I'm gonna do a show and tell on camera. So sad that everyone can't see. But I read After the Forest by Kel Woods. It's a historical fantasy based off of the fairy tale Hansel and Gretel, which was my favorite fairy tale as a kid. I used to have like the little golden book, I think. And I think my aunt used to read it to me at bedtime a lot. And I was just obsessed with the idea of a gingerbread house and like candy and an evil witch. It's actually quite a gruesome book for for kids. Like I never really realized that before until I was reading this adaptation of it. But anyways, it focuses on adult Gretel. Her name is Greta, and she suffers from trauma of what happened in her childhood. Her brother Hans is an alcoholic and gambles all their money away, and they're about to lose their house when circumstances start to change for them. And there's magic and shapeshifters and Gretel being accused of being a witch. And we all know what happens to witches.
Oh, yeah.
And a love story and an evil baroness. So yeah, it's actually a really good book.
That sounds really interesting.
I have like a special edition.
I was going to say, I love that sprayed edge.
Yeah, I got this from Owl Crate, actually. Then the second book I read, you already know, Enchantra by Kaylee Smith.
Another ghost fucker book. Where's the lie? Where's the lie?
There is
Where's
no
the
lie. And honestly, I was going to say that after I talked about all the good things about it. It is a ghost fucking book. And in the fall, I mentioned a book I read called Phantasma. It was a paranormal romance novel set in historical New Orleans and follows a character who enters Phantasma, which is a game of trials in a haunted house, and it's run by devils. Each trial represents a specific circle of hell, and there's ghost fucking. Did you read any of these, Mike? Or you just know
I'm kind of
them?
intrigued by them, though. I'm not going to lie.
They're really good.
Yeah, they seem like, maybe like a little bit dark and violent and sexy and
it's kind of
trashy.
horror.
And I love a little bit of trash, but I don't know. It seems interesting enough, like more so than a lot of it.
That's right. Get your hands on it. But yeah, Enchantra is the sequel following.
Are the devils hot?
The devils. There's devils, but there's more so wraiths in this book.
Okay.
And they have like a whole hierarchy of like hold on, let me find it.
Yeah, get your shit together, Mike. Jeez.
So at the very top we have the King of Devils, then the Prince of Devils, then the devils, the demons, the wraiths. And then there's different types of wraiths, like shadow, light, blood, and void. So yeah, all of this is pretty much wraiths. Yep, and it follows the sister of the heroine of Phantasma. She enters a phantom mansion in Italy and discovers that she is now part of a competition known as The Hunt. It's very much Ready or Not, if you guys have seen that movie.
And the prize is her.
Well, no, actually, that would be good. But so The Hunt is a yearly event where a family of demons or wraiths is made to entertain the denizens of hell by participating in killing each other. When they're killed, they're sent back to hell, and the winner gets to like stay in the house for the whole year. Well, yeah. So she has to like get married to one of them in order to increase her chances of winning. So it's very much like Ready or Not because she's the bride. And so all the trials are like a version of hide and seek. And yeah, I love the first book, and I don't know if I like the second one better, but they're both really, really good. I can't really choose. So yeah, check it out, Mike. Okay. Don't make fun of me for the next one.
I feel offended. It's never check it out, Rowan. It's just check it out, Mike.
Oh, well, I'm still waiting on you to read Bloom.
Yeah, I do gotta get on that.
So maybe you check it out if you're into ghost fucking, wraith fucking, whatever. Don't make fun of me. The next book is...
Oh, I would 100% read that. Shut the fuck up.
My Time to Stand, the memoir of Gypsy Rose Blanchard.
I would never make fun of you. She is an icon, a legend, the moment.
Rowan is laughing.
Rose speechless. His jaw is just on the floor.
I would expect no less.
This is true. This is true. Mike gets me, so I don't know.
I do. I would honestly, I would listen to the audiobook and hopefully she reads it.
I think she does.
Oh my God. I'm like literally looking it up right now.
Yes.
Buying. Yeah.
So it was better than I expected. Very illuminating, actually. I'm someone who followed the case for years and watched all the shows, all the documentaries, and I still found that this book was a trove of new information. And I can't hate the game. There you go. On Spotify.
I got it.
Let me know how you like it.
Yeah.
And lastly, I read Creepshow, the comic.
Yes.
For tonight's festivities.
Nice.
Have you, either one of you, seen the comic?
I've seen it. I don't own it though.
Yeah, I remember when it came out, but I never purchased it.
So I would say it's pretty dead on with the movie. Like panel for panel, page for page. Only a couple of minor things are different, but it looks so much like the movie. The only thing that it was really missing was, and this is like classic Creepshow for me, so it kind of sucks that it's not in the book, but like the segments of the creep before and after.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not in the comic.
But
so.
I get that because it's the way of making the movie a comic book, so why would you put that in the comic book? But yeah, it does suck, you're right.
Instead, though, it does have the creep commenting on everything as it's happening. And like kind of talking to the children audience.
Okay, yeah.
Which is cool, but after watching the show with Rowan, we're used to always talking about the creep and what he's up to. So, yeah, and I think the movie did the comic justice. I think I like the movie a little bit more, actually, and I highly recommend giving Creepshow a read if you like the movie. But yeah, that's all I've been up to.
I love the like Bernie Wrightson illustrations because he also did, if you guys never read it, you have to. Oh, see, beautiful, beautiful. The Stephen King novella Cycle of the Werewolf.
Okay.
They based Silver Bullet, the movie, on it with Corey Haim.
Oh, I've seen that movie.
Anyway, yeah, it's really good. And yeah, and it's based on like essentially Stephen King like graphic novella. It's mostly like prose, but it's peppered with a lot of really beautiful illustrations.
I mean, get your hands on it. I was gonna say, get your hands on anything Bernie Wrightson, really.
He's brilliant.
Obviously, like super iconic art for Swamp Thing. The artist for Swamp Thing, and his art's amazing.
Yeah. I really love it. Mike,
what
what you been up to?
I haven't. This has been like a bit of a slow period. Well, not slow. Slow for like enjoying things that I actually like, and not slow for life being a shit show and not having time or energy or like motivation for anything. So I had my bad movie night with my friend, where we always do our Tubi movies. And we actually found this one that we thought was going to be really bad, but like, so bad it's good. And it turned out that it was actually quite bad, but it was actually better than we thought it was going to be, but not because it was so horrible. It had one of my favorite erotic thriller of the 90s ladies co-star, Shannon Tweed, Hometown Girl. She did a lot of movies with Andrew Stevens. He was kind of like the male Shannon Tweed, except he never showed dong. So we found this like thriller movie on Tubi that starred him, and I was like, oh my God, I remember seeing this in the video store. I was like, let's watch it. And it sounded like kind of interesting. So we started watching it, and first of all, the main actress's hair is like, I think it was like 1992. It was so like curled and permed and like buffed like to the gods. It was like this massive like white blonde. It was so beautiful. It was so like late 80s. And then who walks into the movie but fucking Peter Neal himself from Tenebrae?
Oh my God.
And at this point, I was several hefty glasses of wine in, and I got so because we were like hanging out for a bit beforehand, and I got so excited, and I paused the movie, and I like actually ran into like my office here to get the Blu-ray of Tenebrae, and my friend's like, "What? Like, what's going on? Are you okay? Like, what's happening? Who is that? Why are you freaking out?" And I'm like, I bring out my fucking steelbook of Tenebrae, which doesn't even have it just has like the picture of, you know, like her eyes behind the cut fabric and stuff. And I'm like, he's in this. And my friend's just sitting there with his glass of wine, like, okay. Like,
good for you.
I don't watch horror movies. This doesn't mean anything to me. And I was like, oh, I can't wait to tell everybody on the cast. I was like, we literally just did this movie a couple weeks ago. Like, you don't understand. This is so exciting. Yeah, and it was this movie about a actress, and she's like kind of an older actress in like thrillers, kind of like what we're watching. So it's got kind of got this little like taste of postmodernism. And they hire a body double for her who is like a younger woman. And then all this like intrigue happens, and there's like double crossings, and people are trying to kill them. And she's like really crazy jealous of this girl, and it's not great, but it actually kind of like goes off the rails a bit in like a really fun, enjoyable way. And I'm not gonna lie, again, it could just be the wine and Moscow mules that we were drinking.
Maybe.
But like by the end of it, I was like, I'm a little gagged by this. Like, this was actually kind of good. And I don't know that I'll ever watch it again because I kind of don't want to ruin the memory, but I don't know, if you're in the mood for like trashy Tubi erotic thrillers, this is like a step above. It's not great, but like, I don't know. It has,
you could
like,
do worse.
You could do worse. Yeah, I mean, Peter Neal from Tenebrae is in it. Like, it's wonderful. Okay, so I also rewatched. Actually, this was kind of fun because we had another movie night at my friend's house, and he has a gigantic, huge TV. Like, it's beautiful. It's like the size of their wall, and I'm always so jealous of it. And I love going over there to watch movies because it's a big, beautiful TV. And he has never, he has a PlayStation like I do, and he had never watched a 4K before. And we were going to have a movie night with a couple of our friends, and I said, we're watching Death Becomes Her in 4K.
Hell yeah. Didn't you just watch this?
Mike watches it like every other week.
I can't help that. It's like literally
I didn't mean that in a bad way, but like, didn't you just watch it?
Well, we watched, and that's the funny thing. Like, I bought the 4K of it and never even took the plastic off of it. Because the last time we watched it, we watched Trevor and Willow's. So
it's a banger.
Yeah. They had several of the people had never seen a 4K before and didn't realize how beautiful it was going to look. And two of them had never actually seen Death Becomes Her before. Everybody was gagged. Everybody. It's such a perfect movie. I am convinced now that the fact that they're all brilliant, all three of the leads, but Meryl Streep, I'm not even like joking. I know I'm like a drama queen and exaggerate stuff, but like, she should have gotten an Oscar for this. I don't care.
Yes.
Like, it's in my top like probably 3 film performances of all time. I think she's perfect, and if I could bring one film performance to watch with me in the afterlife over and over, it would be this one.
Death Becomes Her is to Mike as Lisa Frankenstein is to Gill.
Oh my God.
Yeah. No, truly. It was my personality growing up, just like Lisa Frankenstein was Jill's personality for
now.
What, 6 months after it came out? For sure. And again, I'm not dragging you, by the way. I'm not dragging you. I know.
It's embarrassing.
We all know this to be true. Yeah. Don't be embarrassed. Look, listen, it's not cringe to fucking love things.
You know,
people who don't like openly love things, I have no time for.
I would say Colton, but he loves dinosaurs, and Jurassic Park.
That's a kind of like love that transcends. Anyway. Yeah, no, that's my advice for everybody. Openly love everything that you love. Just be like vocal about it and demonstrate it.
Hell yeah. And watch it on a big, beautiful TV.
Yep. It's not cringe. It's beautiful. Life is so short. Shut up, Dylan.
I'm sorry.
So yes, that's my little like meaning of life.
No, that's really nice.
Fucking diatribe.
I'm just laughing because you keep talking about this big TV, and it sounds like you're talking about
I can't help
a
it.
dick. I can't stop laughing.
We do need to get something on it in 4K that has nudity, though.
Yes.
See how it looks, just to test. So I also watched a movie that I had only seen once when I was probably like 19 or 20, and I like downloaded a bootleg of it off the internet, and I think it was probably like a VHS rip. And it's a pioneering and beautiful, wonderful, amazing lesbian drama called Desert Hearts. It's amazing. It's like a period piece set in, I think, 1959. And it is set out in the desert. And it's this like professor who goes to Nevada to get a like quickie divorce. And she stays at like, I guess, a boarding house there, filled with all these like different interesting kooky characters. And one of them is this like, you know, a little bit of a tomboy sort of woman. And, you know, turns out she's a lesbian, and it's obviously always very like, don't talk about it. But anyway, they end up like kind of starting to fall in love, and it's just beautiful. It's wonderful. It's not one of these ones where like they die at the end or whatever, but it's a beautiful movie, and I think everybody should watch it. So Desert Hearts. Get your eyes on it. And we all need to watch lesbian movies more.
Wrote it down.
Good. So the last one that I watched, now this is almost embarrassing. I watched it last night with a couple of my friends on Discord because we watched the first one on Discord when it came out. And it is the brand new, only came out, I think, on Friday movie, Another Simple Favor.
Shut the fuck up. I almost put that on
Blake
today.
Lively and Anna Kendrick.
Rowan is so upset that he just left.
No, I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm here. Actually, that's
Rowan
it's on
got
my
up
list. I've never seen the original, but
it's
Straight
original's
to Prime.
fun. It's fun.
I haven't seen the original, but I just want to see Anna Kendrick being pissed off that she has to do another movie with Blake Lively.
Oh yeah. It's actually so funny. I almost like it better than the original. I didn't like love the original. I thought it was like kind of a fun, trashy movie, and you know, the outfits were really nice, and I think Anna Kendrick is the beautiful gowns,
the hats.
Anna Kendrick is very charming. I do enjoy her a lot.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think she's just got like a life to her that appeals to me.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? She's just very charming. Blake Lively cannot act her way out of a wet paper bag.
Facts.
I mean, yeah.
So they just literally drape her in like Louboutin shoes and like big hats and, you know, beautiful gowns. And that kind of does all the heavy lifting because she's just supposed to be like glamorous. Yeah, and this one, like, you know, takes place like 5 years after the original. So it's kind of like real time. It's not like, oh, it picks up, you know, 2 weeks later. And, you know, through the jigs and the reels, they go to, she's marrying, Blake Lively's like marrying this rich Italian man. So they're, you know, on the like cliffside and like Capri, you know, for the wedding. And his family is like the mob, and it's people start dying. And, you know, it's fun. It's like, it's a bit funny. It tries to be clever. It isn't really, but it's got some great actors. Allison Janney is in it, who is like fucking mother Allison Janney. Yeah, it's like a nice waste of, I don't know what it was, 90 minutes probably. You know, it's fun. It's forgettable. It's fine.
Can't wait to watch
but,
it and talk to you about it.
Yeah, listen, you need to watch it. Preferably, you know, maybe have a martini or something.
Preferably.
They drink a lot of martinis in it, so yeah.
Okay.
So that's honestly like pretty much all I've been up to, catching up on trash shows. Ro, what have you been eating with your eyeballs?
Well, yeah, what a episode for Colton not to be here. I think I said in the group chat the other night, I was really excited. I finished a game. I sat down, like played a game all in one night.
Proud of you.
So I played Silent Hill, The Short Message, which came out, I don't know, a couple years ago or a year ago. I guess it was 2024 is the date on it, and it was fine. It wasn't great. It's not a super long game. It's only like hour and a half, 2 hours gameplay maybe. I think basically just trying to show the world like they're still doing something with Silent Hill, the story.
They probably had to, like, you know, put something out contractually.
Yeah, I that's kind of how I felt it was. It was kind of interesting. Like, obviously, I think thematically they kind of like went in a different direction, trying to get a younger crowd. Obviously, like a female crowd is what it was aimed at.
Oh, obviously. Why is that?
Well, I mean, the whole storyline was about like specifically about like female depression and
okay.
Like teen suicide, and it was, you know, it was like Mean Girls.
God forbid teens have, you know,
Mean Girls,
hobbies.
but not funny. Like yeah, like some pretty dark themes. But the gameplay was, you know, it wasn't anything great. It's very like paint by number. Just kind of straightforward, you know, like I said, it's just kind of showing off that they're doing something with the property. So there's only like one monster in this entire game, and they like basically at the end of every kind of level, there's like this monster chases you, and it's like the chase lasts like 5 minutes, maybe less, and then that's it, and then you go play some more, and you're just like, you're uncovering a mystery, essentially, and like Silent Hill normally does, except that this mystery I kind of figured out pretty much at the beginning. I was like, oh, I bet you this is what happened, and then that's exactly what happened. So I was like, oh, good times. But yeah, so I did do that. As for movies, I did do 2 rewatches. Sat down with X the other day, and she hadn't seen Conclave yet. And obviously, because the actual Conclave is, you know, getting ready there. Well, we thought it was appropriate, so watch that. And I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it when it first came out. What a score. The score is so good in that. And then one I'm sure I've talked about like a couple episodes in the history of this podcast, but I rewatched The Goods, Live Hard, Sell Hard, which is like an all-time comedy for me. It's like one of those comedies that I don't think many people know about. It's from 2009. The cast is awesome. It stars Jeremy Piven, but it's got like Vin Rames, Catherine Hain, Ed Helms, Alan Thicke's in it. Like, there's a lot of people in it. It's directed and written by Neil Brennan, which if you're not familiar with Neil Brennan was the co-creator of The Chappelle Show with Dave Chappelle.
Oh.
And he has like a pretty popular podcast now. I think it's called Blocks, where he basically interviews like comedians and stuff, and they talk about mental blocks and their mental health and stuff. But yeah,
it's not like wooden blocks that you make stuff out of?
Yeah, no. It's sorry,
God damn
man.
it.
But yeah, I love this movie. Like, this movie makes me like puke. I'm laughing so hard every time. It's just like super underrated, and not enough people saw it. So watch that. Like Jill said, I saw Until Dawn. If you want to hear my thoughts, me and Colton did an episode on it. And I did see some stuff that I've never seen before. I got a chance to finally check out Craven the Hunter, because that's the kind of guy I am, and it's exactly what everyone said. It's not very good. Aaron Taylor is like jacked in it, as always. I feel like, you know, this is probably why he was jacked in Nosferatu. I think he was kind of shooting these around the same time. But it's like every animal in this movie is CGI and looks terrible. It looks like CGI from like 10 years ago. And obviously, like, you could tell, like, there's no end credit scenes, anything. Like, they knew this was like pretty much done, and that they weren't really going to do many of these extended universe movies anymore.
They're like, we're not going to try to weave this into the story at all. We're just going to forget about it.
So, yeah, no, it wasn't great. And then to go in a total opposite direction, I watched the original Bridget Jones' Diary.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because I'd never seen it, and I mean, truth be told, what it is one of a podcast I listen to. Like, I try to watch everything they talk about, and one of the episodes they have is the new Bridget Jones' Diary movie that just came out. And I was like, I'm not gonna watch that because I've never seen any of the other ones. So I was like, hey, I'll start watching them. So I did see the first one. I actually really enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty good.
It's funny.
It's an excellent movie.
Yeah.
It really is classic, like superb.
Yeah, I mean Hugh Grant's always just awesome. So I really enjoyed that. I checked out Havoc, which is the new Tom Hardy film, or I guess I should say the new Gareth Evans film on Netflix. Obviously, Gareth Evans known for the Raid movies. This is like his ultra-violent, very, not aesthetically, but it kind of gave me like Sin City vibes. Like, it's very comic booky, but it's not a comic book movie. Just ultra-violent about, like a one-man revenge. Like, I've never seen the Raid movies. I'm told they're fantastic.
Like literally, you need to get them. Yeah, I'm in your eyeballs.
I'm gonna watch them, but from what I know that movie's about, I mean, same kind of thing, just like a one-man army guy. And this was all right. The story, they didn't explore the characters very much. The story was kind of but like the action scenes, there were some pretty cool action scenes in it, and realistically, when you go into a movie like this, it's like the John Wick thing. Like, I'm just looking for like some cool action set pieces, and then I'm pretty happy. So yeah, I thought that was all right. One that I didn't think was all right. I watched the new film G20, which is Amazon Prime's. I don't even know how to describe this.
I love Viola Davis, but like Viola Davis, Harrison Ford looking action, like
exactly what it is. Viola
Yeah.
Davis playing the president of the United States. I
what
saw
Air Force One? That's what I was thinking of. It kind of was giving me that vibe.
It is those
I was like, "What's that
vibes.
Harrison Ford movie?" Yeah,
and it's essentially just like she's at a G20 summit, and then terrorists take it over because they have some sort of like Bitcoin. They're trying to like get rich off Bitcoin, but they're also trying to crash the world's economy. It's like very trying to like have all these political like turmoil that's going on now actually in the world, but not done very well. Like, so it's just like super laughable. Like, Anthony Starr is the villain of it, obviously, like the lead in The Boys. So he playing, this like Australian terrorist. It's not good. I love Viola Davis. And this is just like, it's not good. The action scenes are so bad. Like, they're cut up so much where like you're looking at Viola Davis's face and then like someone doing like a roundhouse kick or something that's obviously not her. And it's just, it's really bad. And like, they lean way too much into like making it political for like now, like all these like hot button issues. Where I was like, I feel if it was like, like an Air Force One where it's like just very vague. It's like, it's a president and there's a terrorist and we're fighting, like, that would be fine. But like, they're trying to be like, hey, all these issues going on in like America right now and stuff. Like, we're going to talk about those issues.
I'm interested.
I mean, it's just a lot of, like, there's like stupid jokes about like diversity and like, it's not done very well at all. It's forgettable.
I guess everybody needs like to, get a paycheck.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm sure she made a shit ton of money. So, and it's been like #1 on Amazon Prime for like 2 weeks now. So people are watching it.
Except for the day that Another Simple Favor came out.
Well, yeah, that knocked it out. I think it's like #2 or 3 now.
Oh, no.
Checked out 2 documentaries. I watched Gone Girls, the Long Island serial killer. Me and X watched that on Netflix. That was pretty good because I didn't know anything about it. Apparently, I'm just oblivious to most, fairly current affairs. I guess this is only like a couple years ago that this cold case was hot, but basically about a serial killer in Long Island that killed a bunch of women, and it's a Netflix documentary. So you know how that is. It's like they make you think one thing at the beginning and then gotta twist it in.
God damn it.
in the middle. It's like 3 episodes. Then went on Tubi, of course, because piece of trash. Watched TMZ Presents The Downfall of Diddy 4. The Defense.
Oh my God.
TMZ's just pumping these out like every couple weeks.
You have spent so many hours watching these fucking Diddy movies.
All TMZ documentaries on Tubi will be watched by me.
Yeah.
I think I've seen them all now. This wasn't very good. like, obviously, they're going to put out another one that's, like, about the prosecution. They're just milking this for all they can.
Mm-hmm.
So, as the title says, this one is all about Diddy's defense. Like, how can Diddy get out of this? Like, what are the lawyers going to do? And, you know, it's kind of funny because all the other ones they've done, like, what's his name? Harvey... What's his name? The TMZ guy. The main TMZ guy.
Oh, I can't remember his name.
You know who I'm talking about, though. Who seems
the, like, black t-shirt guy.
Yeah, and I always feel bad because, like, everyone's all kind of, like, TMZ sleazy. Every time I see him on camera, I'm like, he seems like he's, like, a fairly nice guy. Like, he seems like he's pleasant. But he's basically already said in all the other documentaries that he thinks Diddy's guilty. But it's like, in this one, he's got to pretend like he doesn't think he's guilty. And, they also at the end do like a mock trial and see what people would, what a jury would say. It's so bad. It's almost good. Let's talk about like, I guess the last three things that are good things. So me and Colton, I think, brought up before that I've been listening to the Big Picture podcast. They've been doing their 25 for 25. So they rank what they thought were the 25 best movies for this quarter century. So I've been kind of following that, and, you know, sadly, a lot of their picks, when I watched Michael Clayton, that's what I watched Michael Clayton for, because I'd never seen it. Their next pick I'd never seen, so I watched The Handmaiden.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I had absolutely never even heard of it, never seen it. It's Park Chan-wook, their film, who obviously Old Boy would be like the big one everyone knows them for. And I really, really like this. Maybe not the most appropriate film for me to watch at work. I didn't know anything about it, and I didn't know it was literally just, you know, like women eating each other out for 3 hours.
Hell yeah.
It's based on a lesbian mystery novel by a British lady.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I really like this. Like, I thought the twists were cool. Obviously, I don't know how it would hold up on like a second watch in terms of like plot wise, because once you know the twists, it's kind of like, oh. But it's shot impeccably. The sets are amazing. Like, it's just like this epic period piece. And it's just really, really well done. The acting's really well done. I really, really liked it. Then I watched Freaky Tales, which was a film that came out last year by Ryan Flock and Anna Boden, who were the duo that gave us Captain Marvel. This is basically what they did with their Captain Marvel money. This is an anthology in the vein of an 80s VHS movie, very influenced by like Tarantino, Cronenberg, like all these kinds of people. You know, obviously they use some of that Marvel cachet for the cast to get them to come on this more independent film. So like Pedro Pascal is one of the stars of it. Ben Mendelsohn is in it. Ji Yeon-yo, who was just in Until Dawn, she's in this. There's like Angus Cloud. This is the last film Angus Cloud was in. And this was pretty good. I thought it was pretty good. It definitely falters. Some stories are better than others. And it's all entirely shot in this like 80s VHS aesthetic. So there, you know, there's like tracking issues, and you know, Pedro Pascal's awesome in this. Awesome guest appearance by Tom Hanks in this as a video store rental guy. Just like them flexing their muscles, basically, like I said, being like, we made a Marvel movie and we're doing this. It's set in 1987. These guys are from Oakland, the directors and writers. And it's basically loosely based off Ryan Fleck's memoir he wrote, I guess, about Oakland in the 80s. So it's supposed to feel like Oakland. I don't know what that means, but if you're in the hip hop, like Too Short's in this, lots of Too Short music. He's the narrator. It's just cool. It's like a mix of punk music and hip hop and just the 80s scene. But Mike, I know you'll be disappointed. This breaks my number one cardinal rule. Just like Fear Street, all the music from 1987 until the final story, which is a fantastic story, very Kill Bill-ish, and they play an E40 song from the 2010s just randomly, which I understand, like a movie about Oakland and the Bay, like E40 is just an icon who had music like in the 90s and stuff, but I don't think was around in the 80s. So it just broke the rule right at the end of the movie.
It just took you right out.
Yeah. But this is bloody. Like, it's bloody. It's fun. It's like an action, sci-fi, horror-tinged film. It was a good time. I thought it was pretty good. And then lastly, I finally got to see The Bike Riders. That was Jeff Nichols' film that came out in 2023 with Austin Butler, Tom Hardy, Jodie Comer. I know you would get mad if I didn't say Jodie Comer.
It's so funny because Ro texted me the other day and was like, "Oh my God, have you seen The Bike Riders?" And I was like, "What the fuck is that?" I don't know why I couldn't actually put my finger on it.
This was fantastic. Like, I really, really liked it. I'm kind of sad I didn't see it in the theater. It's like if I had to describe it, I described it to someone and I was like, think about Goodfellas, but if Goodfellas was for emo boys, essentially. Like, it's not loud. Even though it's about motorcycles, this is the quietest motorcycle movie you'll ever see. It's like men moping and trying not to cry and, just not wanting to listen to their girl because they want to go hang out with a group of guys all night. And it's based on, I can't think of the name of it, but it's based on apparently some very famous coffee table book about the outlaw motorcycle gang who was like one of the first organized motorcycle gangs. It's a coffee table book that came out in the 60s that's mostly just like pictures and transcribes of interviews from Kathy, who Jodie Comer plays. And it's actually kind of cool because when you listen to the actual recordings, because the accents in this are wild, like super wild. It's based in Chicago. Tom Hardy, his accent is from like Mars. I don't know what's going on. It's like a high-pitched voice with weird twang on it that is not Chicago. But I know a lot of people were complaining about Jodie Comer's accent in this, but when you listen to the actual tapes, it sounds exactly like the actual woman. It's like creepy. But I really like this. I thought it was good. Austin Butler, I think, has like, he's the star and he has like 3 lines of dialogue. It's him doing his best like James Dean impression and, just being sexy on a motorbike essentially for 2 hours. So I highly suggest, I said in my Letterboxd review, this is the gayest straight movie I've ever seen. I'm sure unintentionally, maybe intentionally, I'm not sure. And another reason to see is Michael Shannon's in it, and Michael Shannon's always fantastic. Yeah, highly suggest, and that's all I've got. That's all I did. So yeah, let's get into our episode for this evening, our movie for this evening, I should say, and we're staying in 1982, apparently. I don't think that was even really planned, but Tenebrae was 1982. Jill, why don't you let people know what your pick was and why you chose it?
My pick for tonight was Creepshow, like it said, from 1982. And Rowan had mentioned earlier, this is our first George Romero movie on the podcast. So that's pretty momentous, I feel. But yeah, I had never seen this movie before, which is kind of sacrilegious, especially because if you're a horror hound, you know that Rowan and I on Stream Screams cover the Shudder exclusive show Creepshow. And
that's right.
Yeah, I've been waiting to do this and I've been waiting for a special moment. So I thought, why not just do it on the show and talk about it with everyone.
Yeah, so with that, let's just get into the trailer and then we'll be back with the synopsis and first experiences.
Tales of horror that will give you the creeps.
This is going to be extremely painful, Mr. Verrill.
The most fun you'll ever have being scared. Creepshow, rated R.
Now playing at a theater near you.
1982's Creepshow is directed by George A. Romero and written by Stephen King. And the synopsis is as follows. 5 tales in the style of classic 50s horror comics involving a murdered man emerging from the grave, a meteor's ooze that makes everything grow, a snack for a crated creature, a scheming husband, and a malevolent millionaire with an insect phobia. Yeah.
They like alliteration.
Yeah, do you love that?
Yeah.
I know. So, first experiences, is this our first time seeing Creepshow, or are we just creeps? And love us some Creepshow. Mike, why don't you start us off?
Oh, I'm a creep. Oh my god, I've seen this like numerous times over the years. It was one of those that like, I can't remember exactly if I saw it on TV maybe, or I probably rented it from the video store, you know, maybe for like a sleepover or something. But I just feel like it's always been in my life. You know what I mean? Like I see the cover art, you know, it's so iconic. And like, I just get these random flashback memories of, you know, just images and scenes from it, and it makes me feel like comforted and warm, even though it's really like kind of bloody and nasty sometimes, you know, right? But yeah, it's one of those that like I don't rewatch it a lot because it just feels like, I feel like it's kind of a gateway horror movie in a way. It's not like PG or like for kids, but it's sort of based on like kids literature in a way, you know, because like comic books.
Yeah.
Not to say that, you know, comic books are for kids, but you know what I mean? Like, that's the whole point, obviously, with the wraparound story is that it's like comic books are kind of that jumping point for a lot of youngsters into some creepy shit. And so I kind of have that in my head. It's like definitely one of my like gateway comfort watches that I just have to like keep in a nice nostalgic box in my mind under its staircase. Mm-hmm. What about you, Ro?
Yeah, I've seen this before tons of times. I can't really remember the first time I ever saw it. I remember I'm positive I owned this on DVD when I was a teenager because like I mean obviously very iconic like DVD cover, VHS cover. But like you, it's kind of one that I see every once in a while. It's kind of weird just because it doesn't dictate my feelings towards the film, but it's just like it's one that I don't necessarily go to often. And, you know, it's kind of like a little treat whenever if someone picks it out to watch or something. I'm like, oh, yeah. And Creepshow. And also for a long time I always used to get 1 and 2 mixed up, so I could never remember what stories were in what. Because I mean, obviously as a kid, I'm sure if I rented this, I probably would have rented like 1 and 2. So yeah, I mean, I've seen this a couple times. What about you, Jill?
Yeah, so I kind of already said it, but yeah, this is my first time. And
wow. Yeah.
Yep. I'm a little embarrassed that it took me this long to watch it, but like I said, I was waiting for the perfect moment. But I like everything else I've seen from George A. Romero, and I've had that comic on my shelf for a while. Also was kind of waiting to watch it before I read it, and I'm glad that I watched it and then read it because I kind of liked the movie a little bit better, honestly.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, because I can't even remember. Like, that comic didn't come out that long ago. I feel like it was like 6 years ago, 7 years ago.
Really?
I think it originally came out around the same time, like after the movie.
Yeah, but it was definitely an after the movie product.
Yeah, and then it like got re-released because I don't think it was in print for like 30 years. Yeah. I do, yeah, it probably was like 4 or 5 years ago. I remember looking through it when it got the reissue. Jill's got it in her hand. It's so beautiful and big. It just literally looks like something you'd have poked under your bed.
I love it. The cover of it especially is just, it's spot on.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
100%. All the Stephen King and George Romero posters on the bedroom wall. It's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Well, with that, let's open the floodgates and let's get creepy, fellas, ladies, folks, and talk about some Creepshow. Now, this was one that I'm curious how you guys wanted to do this, because obviously
this is tough. Yeah.
With anthology, we've only ever really done 2 anthologies ever. Trick or Treat.
Quick, name them. Okay.
And After Midnight.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you were gonna forget After Midnight.
Oh, no, never. I love After Midnight.
Okay, good.
Yeah, so I thought maybe, because this is like Jill didn't bring it, she kind of brought it up, but we didn't really say, this is kind of almost like a tie-in with Stream Screams, because we do talk about Creepshow, the show. So I was thinking that maybe it's only right that maybe we like start with the prologue, and then we can talk about the segments as they play out. So the prologue, yes. What do you guys think about this? That we get the creep, we get the comic book stuff with the kid.
The kid is Joe Hill.
Oh, it's yeah. I was gonna say Joe Hill, little fucking baby Joe Hill,
which is awesome, and then
who is little baby Stephen King, which is so funny.
He literally is.
So it's like,
and then you have actual baby Stephen King in the next segment, but we'll talk about that later. But then also freaking Tom Atkins, who is just
Tom Atkins,
yeah.
Oh, he's so nasty in that.
He is so nasty. He slaps his own kid. What is that?
And listen, like in 1982, that was what you did.
Yeah. But like the handprint, man, on that kid's face was pretty brutal.
This always reminds me of, for some reason, always reminds me of Dead Time Stories, another anthology movie that has like a very similar kid. I think that one, it's like a father reading the scary stories to the kid. And I feel like that one, yeah, I can't remember exactly what happens, but yeah, these like kids versus parents, it has like some nostalgic feel to me. I think really, which is kind of funny, is I think it's because of Tales from the Hood. Also, there's like a kid-father theme in that anthology film except like the father is like a monster, but he's an abusive father, and it's like using all that. But yeah, this dad just hating comics. Although, I don't know, like the kid, the way the kid laughs at the creep.
Maybe he was onto something.
Yeah, maybe this dad knows that this kid is just like the devil.
It's very Stephen King. Every segment, including the prologue, is very Stephen King, especially like with the daddy issues. The alcohol is everywhere, every single segment.
Let me have my breakfast gin, like breakfast bourbon brandy. Like,
it's disgusting.
Well, this is 82. Like, yeah, this is probably like in the height of Stephen King just wilding out. So,
oh yeah,
he would have been like heavy into the booze and the coke, I would imagine, around this time. I mean, listen, I'm not saying anything that's no one else knows.
I mean, listen, he's very open about that. I'm sure he'd appreciate it. You should invite him on, and we'll all talk about it.
Sounds good. Also with the prologue, I like the creep being involved, like him looking kind of maliciously from the window. I love how the creep looks with the effects, but also the animation is very like 80s nostalgia. Like it kind of reminds me of the Care Bears. Like, hear me out. Darkheart from the Care Bears, it's like the same kind of animation from that time. So I don't know. Even though I didn't see it in my childhood, I can still feel that nostalgia.
Yeah, I can see that. It definitely has that kind of like, I don't want to call it unpolished, but yeah, that like 80s cartoon feel. Just
it's like actually like hand drawn, right?
Yeah,
like,
exactly. Not
CG.
Yeah, not computer.
Not
reboot.
Hey Chat GPT anime. I don't know. I don't even know what you use that for. I'm just, the AI bullshit.
So I mean, from there, let's start with the first one, Father's Day. I mean, obviously the first thing I notice is Ed Harris with some white hair.
Ed Harris.
Are we just gonna get right into it to talk about Ed Harris dancing? Which might, to me, this might be up in like some sort of competition with Crispin Glover and Friday the 13th.
Yeah, but Ed Harris is way hotter.
I mean,
it's not even a question.
I guess, whatever floats your boat. You're into those daddy types, though, I feel, so.
Oh my god.
How
dare you?
You like Daddy Harris.
Call him out like that.
The dancing's wild. I just thought this whole segment was like super funny just because not only are they dancing wild, but they're only listening to that one song over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like all night, they're just dancing to one song.
And they don't get any food.
It's like they had an 8-track. I know. And like, well, I mean, listen, the whole fucking kitchen is in pitch black. Like, there's no lights on. Like, nobody's even attempting. They're like, we're not even going to get like some popcorn or chips or something.
I'd be so pissed if I were there waiting for food and just waiting on the aunt to show up.
You gotta wait for your drunk aunt that may or may not show up.
It's like 8 o'clock and they haven't eaten yet. Like, I can feel the tension. I can feel like how hangry everybody is.
You know, the biggest thing I thought about watching this one was that I don't know about you guys, but to me, I had written down in my notes that I think this is like the iconic segment of all of these movies. Like, I feel like this is the one that has kind of stood the test of time. They've made like toys of the father with the head on the platter.
I was gonna say the head on the platter is like a good calling card for this movie.
Yeah.
It says it gives you that vibe and the like aesthetic of the movie instantly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and obviously, it is the first movie, but this is like, we're getting right into it with the iconic, like someone screaming or a monster, and then we have that like glorious colored background come in that they reuse pretty much almost every segment going on. And even in the show, like we've talked about on Stream Screams, they do this tons of times in the show. I can't remember the segment in the show, but there's actually one that's like very similar to Father's Day or gives me Father's Day vibes, which was the one, it was the one about, it was like the noir one with the bank robber woman that comes to the
house.
The house,
yeah,
and then
the guy who buried his wife.
The mortician's wife comes out of the grave.
It's like the monkey's paw. Situation.
Colored background. It's just a very similar feel, I guess, with coming out of the grave.
Yep.
In this one, and then like also the iconic, the iconic voice of the zombie talking at the end. I feel is like a soundbite I've heard in lots of different places and all that kind of stuff.
My problem is that this one is too short.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I mean, obviously we kind of prepared that. I think we said like before we rate it, we're gonna talk about like where we rank the episode or the segments. Yeah, but I kind of agree. I thought this one was short. I'll spoil mine a bit. I don't think this is the strongest one in the whole thing. And I just kind of wish they did a little more with it, honestly. Like more stuff in the house and with the zombie, obviously. I kind of wish this one was like a little more like bloody. I think that's really my issue. Obviously the head is bloody, but like, you know what I mean? Like some of these other ones are actually pretty violent. And this one I thought was pretty tame.
Even though there's decapitated, heads on platters. And
also, I feel like this one is also kind of messed up because it talks about in the beginning how there was like a Freudian relationship between Bedelia and the dad, and how he was like so jealous of her that he murdered her fiance and everything. So it's like a little seedy, even though it's not that bloody until the end, but there are a lot of deaths. And that's one thing I like about Creepshow and this type of like medium is that they're not afraid to kill everybody. Like there's usually no final girl or anything like that. It's everyone's gonna die. It's gonna be bad.
Yeah.
And they pay
because you're not attached to anybody.
Exactly. It's so short. Right.
Yeah.
And I kind of like that everyone's fucked in Father's Day. And I really like the combination of like the icing and the candles and the head on the platter. I love it when like sweet, cute things are mixed with grotesque things. And I like the fog in the graveyard. We were kind of talking about that other scene in the Creepshow series. I just love a spooky graveyard. I like that also the zombie, like the corpse of the dad was reanimated by the Jim Beam. Like it goes back to Stephen King and alcohol being a big thing. When the hand shot from the grave, that scared the shit out of me. When the dad's hand comes from the grave. And another thing I just wanted to mention, and this is kind of a reoccurring thread in every single segment, but it's kind of the callback to it being a comic and all of the frames that frame the shots. And for this specific one, it was like icing and like the shot was shaped like a cake. And then also there are ones with blood framing the shot. And I just love all those like little details.
And the way it like transitions between like outside in the kitchen, and it like literally is like you're looking from one frame to another. And it gives it that border and kind of like zips it. Oh, just beautiful. Beautiful like synergy of, you know, mediums.
And I didn't realize until I was looking into it, the ashtray that they murder the father with, apparently, and this is what happens with movies, right? They are like, you got to go watch it again, Rowan, watch our movie again. Apparently this ashtray is in all the segments.
Yeah, it's very, very prominent in the Something to Tide You Over.
I didn't notice.
Because it's like on his bedside table where he spends half the segment.
But this is something I love, especially where these stories, other than being in the same comic book, aren't tied together. Like, I love little stuff like this. Like, I'm thinking about, you know, one we've talked about on the episode of Trick or Treat, where, like, I'm seeing one of these stories, but then you're seeing like another story kind of collide into it. And that's like a fun way to be like, okay, these are all like connected in the same world somehow.
Yeah, it makes you feel like it's the same universe, you know, like it all takes place maybe in like the same state or whatever.
Yeah. Also, just something we've noticed from watching the Creepshow show is that they like to put Easter eggs kind of everywhere. And it might be an Easter egg to the original Creepshow, or it might be like a Stephen King movie, but it makes me wonder if there's actually any other Easter eggs besides the ashtray that they put in these. Oh, actually, I did notice one. I'm not quite sure, but in the second segment, we'll talk about it later, I guess, but the beer that Jordy is drinking looks like the beer that's in one of the episodes of Creepshow.
Oh, yeah, I have that note also.
Oh, so. Okay. Dang.
Yeah. And then, I mean, this probably, I'll bring him up a couple times, but like, I think the zombie father looks fantastic. Obviously, we get a cameo from the man himself at the end, but Tom Savini did the makeup for this.
King.
Yeah.
Also extremely good looking.
He's a garbage man.
Yeah.
Young Tom Savini could get it. Old Tom Savini could get it.
A little bit of Mike, Tom Savini, Ed Harris three-way action going on.
Very niche.
As long as the decapitated head and the cake on the platter gets in there somewhere too.
Mushy.
I'm not going to make the obvious jokes that I can make of that. But, yeah, I mean, just to give a nod, because I'm going to bring up a bunch of times, I'm sure, about stuff that looks fantastic in this and really gives the aesthetic. Because, you know, I think about other stuff he's done, like Friday the 13th, Night of the Living, Dawn of the Dead, stuff like that. The practical effects in this, like, I really like them because you can tell it's not made to look realistic. It's made to look comic booky and over the top,
cartoony,
and campy. And it's just like he gives these like monsters just like real life, and yeah, I absolutely love it.
And like, but I mean, we know he's capable of, you know, making stuff that's like disgustingly realistic, you know, like he pushing the boundary, but like I just love that he's like, no, I'm going to do something that actually feels like of another era.
Yeah. And then do we want to go into the next segment of so then obviously we get out of this and then we go over to the lonesome death of Jordy Verrill, obviously starring Stephen King, coked out Stephen King for sure.
You think so?
There's 100%.
Oh no.
I don't see any other way that George A. Romero is like, this is a good idea, other than there's had to be a lot of drugs going on. And I mean, Stephen King's story, so I'm sure he was like, hey, I want to play something in this. This is the only story that, I mean, Stephen King doesn't have anyone else really other than the apparition of Jordy's father in the mirror, but like, he doesn't have to work with any other actors or anything, which is probably a good thing.
What are you trying to say?
I'm gonna say up front, this isn't one of my favorite segments in this film. I get, the kind of silliness of it. It kind of almost has this like Looney Tunes like kind of feel to it. Like obviously Jordy's like he's a klutz and he's supposed to be pretty dumb and all this kind of stuff. And I would think I'd like this kind of thing, like, We got a meteor opening, very color out of space, and
oh god, yeah.
I had that
unfortunately, not as serious with that. Like, did Stephen King's performance work for you
Not
guys?
as serious. Do you remember Nick Cage in Color Out of Space? Was he coked out?
Was he cross-eyed? How many times did he go cross-eyed?
Well, you guys go ahead. I'll hold my piece for a second.
Listen, is he absolutely atrocious in this? Obviously. Yes, it's nothing about it like works as a like performance, but also I think in a way it does sort of match the tone because this segment seems more cartoony than comic booky. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I think you were spot on with saying like Looney Tunes. Because everything else seems like yes, it came out of, the Tales from the Crypt comics or, whatever the other Vault of Horror and all that shit. But this is very obviously more like sci-fi cartoon, just wacky kind of fucking, you expect Acme to be written on everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I feel like if you're looking at this segment in the same way that you're looking at the other ones, because it's a bit tonally different, it's garbage and put it in the bin. But like I feel like because the tone of this one is as it is, it kind of works. You know what I mean? Like it works when you divorce it from the context of everything else, of all the other segments. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Do you think?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I could see what you're saying there, and that might be the issue. I think it just has such a tonal difference, like you said, compared to the rest. Where the rest are like campy, but they're not like none of them are like overly jokey, and they take themselves. I don't want to say they take themselves serious, but they know what they are, like that they're supposed to be this like 50s camp.
Yeah, but they're still kind of nasty.
Yeah, where. I think like this segment would almost work better in like some sort of like horror comedy anthology or like something like that. Like maybe that's kind of my issue with it. And I mean, as I said, Stephen King is not a great actor. If you were gonna do like, to me, if I was gonna get someone to play this would have been obviously this would have been a more traditional role for like Leslie Nielsen. To be in this one, just because, this is what the man did pretty much his entire career, was just like slapstick comedy stuff.
Okay, but now here's my question. Is it tonally different because of an innate sort of like aesthetic quality, or is it tonally different because of Stephen King's performance? Because he's not an actor and everybody else in this movie is a great actor, Because it's not like the sci-fi thing. We circled
50s,
back to that.
Yeah.
At the end with
and that has a very like Twilight Zone, like I could see that being a 50s kind of callback. So maybe it is just the Stephen King performance. I think is just so bizarre in it that like I couldn't get into the characterization at all to really be able to enjoy it. What about you, Jill?
Do not come for me. Do not come for me because I loved The Lonesome Death of Jordy Verrill.
Oh. So why do you love it? Yeah, I want to know why you love it.
Okay. Well, I thought Stephen King was freaking hilarious. Like I didn't know he could act, and I actually thought it was like a good caricature performance. Even
I
though
still didn't know he could act, so
so rude, but I don't know, it was so insane and over the top and maybe like politically not correct. Like probably wouldn't fly nowadays with him being like very cross-eyed and dumb. But it's also a very sad story, and I don't know, it is totally different because it's wacky in that way, but it's also just like really freaking sad that he dies alone and he's kind of too dumb to even like know what to do and how to go about things. I don't know.
Yeah, no, you're right though, because his anyway, I'm apparently losing my motor skills. His existence seems very like small.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I feel like that's kind of the picture that they're painting there.
True. But then his impact is so like outsized because of what happens at the end. I'm going to get back to that, but I also wanted to talk about the set. I thought the set was really great with like the farmhouse.
It is. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and all the neon green like slowly taking over and invading, and all the spiky like foreign growth going on. It spreads to everything he touches and then keeps spreading. I love watching every scene, seeing like more and more things turning green and spiky, and that was fun to watch.
Okay, another question.
Uh-huh.
Is Jordy Farrell the original Annihilation?
Ooh.
The whole time I was watching it, I was like, why is this Annihilation? But
You're
like,
right.
It really
30
is.
years before.
Yeah.
It's Annihilation and Color Out of Space, like put together with a dumb hillbilly boy that's coked out.
So now
King.
I'm curious, like, whether or not Jeff Vandermeer, like, he knows this for sure.
Yeah,
There's no way he
100%.
doesn't know Creepshow. So now I'm like I feel like I need to do a bit of research and find out, like, does Jeff Vandermeer, like, was this one of his like influences? It has to be.
Please find out. Let us know.
Yeah.
The other thing I liked about it was the like total transformation into a plant monster, and it's a really sad death. And in the comic, actually, the panels of him like with the gun about to kill himself, it's overlaid with the lyrics of the Star Spangled Banner. It's actually like really freaking sad. And then the forecast, and I'm going to go back to that. I thought the best thing about the whole segment was the ending, how bleak and ominous it was with the weather forecast, that there's going to be a lot of rain, that the entire county would turn green, overlaid with the image of Jordy's farm already spreading to the rest of the county, and we know what the water does to the green growth. I don't know, I thought that was just like really harrowing and sad.
It's so apocalyptic, like,
And see, that's like more of a reason I just feel like it seems so out of place. Because even though we got decapitated heads and all these other, like monsters and zombies and all this stuff, like, I do agree, like, the ending of this is like, it's like, oh, well, this is like super depressed. And like, I just feel like even that ending, like, doesn't fit with the campiness of the other endings, where it's like, we're giving you this like super, I'd argue past camp, like, I would just argue dumb segment. I don't like the segment, and then it just has that like super depressing ending, and it's just like so out of place. And the more as we talked about it, having this sci-fi feel, like maybe that's also the issue, is that I think it is so sci-fi influenced, like maybe too much sci-fi influenced. I don't know why, but it always, maybe I would just go space, meteors. Like, I thought about Star Trek the entire time. I was like, this seems like some like growing mold thing that would be on Star Trek, that they'd be trying, like the original William Shatner Star Trek, they're trying to like figure out. And it, like, I guess it just didn't have that like horrific aspect to me.
I was going to ask you, Rowan, did this kind of remind you of the first episode of Creepshow, Gray Matter? Okay, were you going to say that?
Yeah, 100%. And, obviously, like, we talked about, like, drinking the beer and all that, like, very similar looks, because, in that, they're heavily, there's, like, a drink. And I believe when we did the first episode of the Creepshow, because that is the first segment and the first episode of the first season, I believe it, like, they made it purposefully very connected to Jordy, and I believe that one, Joe Hill or Stephen King have a hand in that one, I believe also. So it would make sense to tie it into that. Obviously, in that one, it's like a mold. It's not like grass. It's like a mold or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it definitely did remind me of it, and I feel like that's me and Mike are talking about tones and all this kind of stuff. I feel like you're the more popular consensus. I feel like I've heard more people than not actually really like this segment. Okay. So, like, I feel like anytime I've ever heard someone talk about this movie, that is like an iconic segment they talk about, is the Stephen King one. So
yeah, I really liked it. I don't know. Like, I know it was really dumb, but I don't know. It worked for me, I guess.
There's nothing wrong with liking some dumb stuff.
I'm excited to see the ratings at the end, to see how we like rank each one.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to be the most fun. So from there, let's go into what I may at the end argue. We'll see when you find out my ranking, how I felt about this. Something that tied you over. So this one, I would argue this one's like the one, to me, like, I don't know if it would in 82 have the same impact, but now this is the one that has like the star power behind it. Obviously, Leslie Nielsen and Ted Danson in this one. And yeah, I mean, my first note on this one just says...
And not Galen Ross from Dawn of the Dead?
Oh, yeah.
How dare you?
Well, I was excited to get to my first note, which is just capital letters, and it says... the music. Mm-hmm. The music is so good in this. And obviously, this is my lean. I mean, this is probably all our leanings, where this is like kind of this propulsive synth, very like Carpenter influence.
Very Carpenter,
music. And like, oh my God, it's so good. And it's such a shame because I don't think any of the other, like, there's no real score. Obviously you have like the themes for Creepshow and stuff, but I think this is one of the only iconic pieces of music in this, like a original to it. Yeah, just so good. And I know we're gonna, Holly, I hope you're listening, because your dream's coming true. Me and Mike have to nerd out a little bit. The house, architecture talk time.
It's so beautiful. I was like, this is literally, and maybe it's because we just came off the heels of The Gorgeous Tenebrae.
Yeah.
Which hilariously, of course, I didn't even dawn on me, was like, oh yeah, it's like literally the same year on different continents. But it's so like, it's something out of like Tenebrae or any giallo of the era.
Oh my God. And the beach scene too. Honestly, I thought of Tenebrae.
Yep. Oh yeah. Like, and you know why? Because it's like kind of iconic, like daytime horror. Like the harsh light of the daytime sun.
I know most people really don't like it. I don't know if I'd want it in my house because I wouldn't want to like keep it clean, but I just love a carpeted, like, nice looking house apartment.
Oh yeah.
Also love a good like couple stairs in the middle of my living room that just take me like
the like conversation pit or whatever.
Like just giving me like all those kind of like, I call it like Mad Men Goodfellas.
I was just
it's like mid-century modern.
Like this house is so good. So good.
The funny thing is, it's like, this is, I think we're getting into like Americans versus the rest of the world territory when I say this, but like, I also thoroughly enjoy, in theory, looking at, again, like you said, it's in practice, it's impossible, but like beautiful carpeting, shag carpeting, carpet everywhere, carpet on the walls. And then all I can think about is I was like, oh, this is America. They don't take their shoes off when they go in the house, so it must be fucking filthy and
don't even
disgusting.
Get me fucking started on that shit. It drives me nuts. It is disgusting.
Yeah, no, you couldn't have carpet. It wouldn't work out.
I do have carpet, so I'm
Jill's
in a
like,
constant
unfortunately,
war of telling people to take their shoes off. So nasty.
And I'm just gonna say it now. Leslie Nielsen, I think performance of the whole movie. I think he's the best thing in this movie. I really like his performance, which isn't really a surprise. I feel like comedic actors usually play good kind of like crazy people. But I mean, there's not really anything comedic at all to his performance. There's no jokes. There's nothing like that.
Chilling.
And he's just, I mean, maybe, having, grown up Leslie Nielsen movies, Naked Gun, Wrongfully Accused, like all this stuff, like iconic.
Dracula Dead and Loving It.
Like just iconic stuff of my childhood. So I have like a really soft, real spot in my heart for him. But I think he works so well in this. Ted Danson's great. Like, he does what he needs to do. This is obviously a nightmare scenario for me as someone that can't swim, is scared of water. Yeah, no. I
mean, to be fair, swimming would not help you in this situation.
Yeah, no. I still don't really know how Ted Danson, even though he's a zombie, like escapes, because he shows that like the Leslie Nielsen finds the cord and it's like split. So it's like how, like they make it seem like he like pulled himself out or something like that, or cut it, or I didn't really get it.
I don't really
maybe
get it
he
either.
chewed it.
Just
Maybe
chewed
he
it.
chewed through it.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe.
I just thought he died anyways, and then he just like got reanimated and found his way back.
I mean, I
don't know.
guess at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. Now, this is where it's kind of weird. I would argue, I think this one's too long.
Well, it's definitely longer than all the rest of them.
Yes, and I get it. You want to show this house off. That's all anyone wants you to do.
Oh, yeah.
But I just feel like, once we're getting to the kind of like the third act of this, where like the fog's rolling in and all this stuff, like I just feel that build up to actually getting the Ted Danson zombie and his partner. Like I just feel like that's a little dragged out, where I was like, oh, okay, like let's get to the next one. I'm kind of ready for the next one.
Yeah.
That was my only real complaint on this one.
The lead up was a little too long. They spent a lot of time like opening up that story about like the affair, and then what he's gonna do to them. That took a really long time.
Yeah, it's like they were setting up a twist that never came.
Yeah, I don't know what I expected, but when he's like dying and the camera is on him, and he's like, "I'm gonna come get you or come back for you," whatever.
Yeah.
At that point, after watching like the first segment, Father's Day, it's kind of like a revenge thing. Like if there's an unrested soul, they're gonna come back from the dead and come for you.
Yeah, and I was gonna say this one obviously, like you said, this one the most tied in with Father's Day and the fog coming in and that bringing the zombies. So another connection, I guess, in that they kind of coexist in this world.
Oh, one connection that I don't know if I'm just making this up, but right after the lonesome death of Jordy Verrill, with like all the green stuff, the amount of plants in that apartment, right? There's a lot of plants. I feel like that's intentional as kind of like a tie-in.
Oh yeah, there's definitely like connective tissue.
Connective tissue. That's gross. I love it.
Well, green
Mitochondria.
annihilation. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, I was like, what? Not mitochondria. You with your polysyllabic words.
It's the powerhouse of the cell.
Couldn't be me.
I was gonna say this one, I know, like just looking in and doing like some of the research, I noticed this one apparently had like an alternate ending attached to it that they scripted, but it ended up getting rewritten, where basically it's like Richard essentially gets like arrested. Like policemen come to his house, he's rambling on about his beach house being invaded, and basically he goes to play footage to show Becky and Harry like invading his house and robbing him, and instead the footage plays footage of him killing them.
That makes sense.
And then basically him saying like, it's a setup, and then it smash cuts to him in a murder trial, and then he gets convicted to death row, and then it smash cuts to him in the gas chamber, and that he just starts laughing hysterically, yelling, "I can hold my breath for a long, long time." And then that was like one of the original endings, but then they ended up switching it, which I like, but because I already think this episode is a little too long.
Yeah.
I like that would have added a whole other 10 minutes or something to it. So,
but also, like, they spent a lot of time during the episode showing that camera, like the security camera at the house. Yeah. And I thought it was going to have more of a role than just like that one shot of showing like the water zombies getting into the house or whatever.
Yeah. Well, that makes sense now that there was a payoff that we didn't end up getting.
Yeah.
Yeah, so then we cut to our next segment, which just a big hit in the Fraser household, The Crate. I didn't mention at the top, but yeah, so Nev watched most of Crate. She missed the Father's Day one, or she saw a little bit of it, but then she really started watching this with the loathsome death of Jordy Verrill, and we got to The Crate, which has been topic of conversation for 2 weeks, because she plays Roblox. And I was watching her one day, and they have a thing where you walk through game worlds. It's kind of an interesting concept, and it's telling you a story, but it's like the rooms you walk into like are like pages in a book, and they're horror stories, they're like scary stories. And you don't do anything, you don't interact at all or anything. You're just like going to the different rooms and it's telling you a creepy story, but it's showing you, you're seeing like still shots. And one of them is the crate. It's this story. So I had explained to her, I'm like, oh, there's this movie Creepshow. Like that's where they're getting this. Like this is from Creepshow. So very curious. When this one came on, because I was like, this is the Roblox one, like, and scared her to death. Scared her to death. She was scared to death of this, hiding her eyes, hiding under the table. And then obviously, I mean, the most iconic thing to me about this is just all that booze in your milk. Ugh.
Yeah, what is that? I thought that was like a gross, dirty Russian, but you said it was bourbon, Mike?
A dirty Russian. I don't know. I just assumed it was like bourbon or something. They seem like, I'm a professor, you know, I play chess. I have a like rug in my den and, you know, patches on my elbows and, you know, I'm going to drink bourbon, you know, because I'm fucking classy or whatever. So I just assumed she was pouring up a nice, delicious, tasty bourbon and milk.
And shout out Adrienne Barbeau, obviously our drunk wife.
Queen.
She was, this is my note, Adrienne Barbeau serving charisma, uniqueness, nerve, and talent. She definitely, a bitch.
Yeah.
And Adrienne Barbeau also in that first segment of the first season of Creepshow that we were just talking about, she was one they brought back. And, you know, for her age that she is now, like, she looks exactly the same. Yeah.
Yeah.
Adrienne Barbeau, one of my notes is just Adrienne is so fucking hot. Like, she is a smoke show.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, doesn't match her husband in this at all. Like, I'm like, what's going on here? Like, how is he pulling this?
I was like, so straight marriages are like a shit show. Because exactly. First of all, she's hot as fuck. Second of all, why would you get married to this person if you hated them so much? Third of all, honestly, I kind of enjoyed her, so I'd love to see her at a party. Maybe I wouldn't want to spend every day with her, but
you could call her Billy.
If you spend every day with her, you might have to take her to the basement, show her the crate.
Oh my god, you're gonna have to start trotting that out as like, you know, a threat. In your household, it's like, don't make me go find the crate.
The shot of Wilma dying is one of my favorite shots in the whole movie. It's so like flashy and classic, like horror. I don't know.
Yeah.
I was going to say, it was kind of funny because when this started, for some reason in my mind, every time I see this one, I'm always like, the crate. I feel like this is like the real weak one. Like,
yeah.
And this is one that like every time I watch it, I'm like, oh, wait, this one's actually not like a weak one. Like this one is pretty good. Pretty good. This is like the bloodiest one. This is like if you're a gore hound, this is the one that you want. I think obviously, like I said, I mean, the Creep might get out, so obviously it's hitting the audience it wants to hit. Because as you said, Mike, I think Creepshow just like a iconic gateway horror movie.
Yeah.
And Fluffy, obviously, iconically, this monster was named Fluffy in the production, and the monster looks great. Tom Savini, and this is like. Yeah. Given that 50s monster movie, you know, fun. And I just think this one really, really works.
I 100% agree. In my mind, the two that I always think, I don't know why, I guess because it's always so long between watches that like, I always kind of like forget one or two of them. But like in my mind, I'm always like, the Leslie Nielsen one and Father's Day. They're the best. And then I always forget about this and it starts playing and I'm like, wait, hang on a second.
It's kind of a banger.
Yeah, and you know why? Because as soon as I see Adrienne Barbeau, I'm like, yes, okay, that's it. I totally forgot. This is it. She's mothering, she's smothering, she's serving cunt, Your Honor.
Your Honor.
We cannot be blamed.
Yeah, I love.
But yeah, this is such a slay. Yeah. Oh, Fluffy.
Looks so good. And
Fluffy, you know, listen, it's like dental goals.
Dental goals? The bite in the face?
Oh yeah. Like that final Or no, that's the second last person that Fluffy kills. Like, so I didn't even remember it was that graphic and stuff. And
it's brutal. It's like 3 murders in one.
Yeah. But, you know, it's funny because when we were watching this, because when this segment came on, X had just come home from work. And, you know, X is also a big fan of Creepshow. So she was sat down and was watching this while Nev was scared and watching it. And we were saying it's kind of funny, though, like, as this gateway horror. Because, you know, me and X are explaining to her, like, you know, like, look at it. It's just a guy in a rubber suit. Like, it's not scary at all. But then this, like... look at it in like a younger child's eyes, like, oh, even though I'm like, oh my God, this looks, you know, not great in today's standards, like, still holds up, still scaring kids, like this rubber suit. Yet again, just us, you know, preaching practical monsters, practical effects.
Yep, they age like fucking wine, man. Even the bad ones, like,
yeah,
it's not corked.
And then, yeah, from that, we are going to go into our final segment. They're creeping up on you. I'm interested what your guys' first note is on this one. My first note just says The Shining, because they play The Shining music in it.
Oh my God. That is so funny. So it's not The Shining. Clockwork Orange is what I wrote down. Because the apartment looks like something out of Clockwork Orange.
Yeah.
Sterile.
Kind of that, like, very, very futuristic, but, like, hardened look.
Yeah, it's like, but it's kind of like a combination of, like, the Art Deco-y sort of thing, but put into this sterile, you know, flattened future.
But yeah, like, I love the inclusion of the jukebox. But yeah, the jukebox is playing, like, the iconic song that plays at the end of The Shining. And I think I was reading the other song that plays is the song they play at the end of The Evil Dead, the original movie. So,
I just watched
I should remember that because I watched it like 2 weeks ago.
Same.
Yeah, same here. So you think.
Wow.
But yeah, this one, obviously, a little time jump. We're in the future. Preying on another one of my fears. Cockroaches. Is a guy that had to live in Toronto for, you know, a year. Toronto's like, you know, I guess probably most large cities. I feel like we're kind of spoiled coming from, like, the East Coast of Canada, where, like, you know, I know where I'm from, like, that's just, I'd never seen a cockroach, or you never hear about a cockroach. Even in, like, Halifax, it wasn't really a thing. I never got an apartment in Halifax and was like, oh, does it have cockroaches? Like, they just weren't a thing. And then when I go to Toronto and it's just like, oh, yeah, like, oh, you pay $3,000 for your apartment, guess what? It has cockroaches in it. Like... It's like everywhere has cockroaches. Anytime I would talk to someone, because I didn't understand it, and I thought it was so gross, and we lived in an apartment that had cockroaches in it. And
Dude, I stayed at your apartment once.
Yeah, that apartment.
Can you tell me about the cockroaches?
Yeah, that apartment. And it's funny because then, like, people I met as I lived there that were from Toronto lived in nice areas, like affluent areas. They all would talk. They're like to me, they treat cockroaches like we treat ants here. Like, I'm like, oh, it's an ant, like, whatever, like, you know, or a spider or something. Like, yeah, you just kill it, like, whatever. And that's how they were explaining to me about cockroaches. They're like, yeah, you're in Toronto now. Like, everywhere has cockroaches. Like, this is what happens when you have, like, large populations that are coming from all over the world. And if you have a building that doesn't have cockroaches, the minute someone moves in that has, like, a cockroach in their bag, your apartment now has, your entire building now has 1 million cockroaches from that one cockroach. Because all they do is reproduce. So I absolutely hate them. Hate them. I have so many cockroach horror stories of just pure terror. Like, one time, like, laying in bed looking up, and on my headboard there was just a cockroach chilling there.
Oh, stop it.
Just absolutely terrifying. And you know what creeps me out about cockroaches? They move fast. They move too fast. Ants aren't that fast. Spiders are, like, somewhat fast, but still not that fast. Cockroaches, it's like 0 to 100. And that creeps me out. You can't catch them. You can't kill them. And if you kill one, cockroaches actually are attracted to dead cockroach bodies. They'll come back and eat it. So, if you kill a cockroach in your apartment, they'll just come. More will come.
So what do you do? Is that why you moved
Burn
from
the building.
Toronto?
No, we just moved because we wanted to move. But that was some of it. I'm sure that was some of it in my mind. But you can't do anything. Cockroaches. Basically, like, you have to fumigate, because what a lot of apartments do, right, is they'll fumigate your apartment. But like, I remember they did that to our apartment like 4 or 5 times, and I talked to the guy, and he said, he's like, this doesn't do anything. Like, you actually have to spend like a week of just like fumigating and exterminating the entire building.
Yeah.
And he was like, you can't do it just a single apartment, because they just hide. They go into the building and they hide. But buildings don't tell you that. Luckily,
this is actually freaking me out right now.
Yeah. Exilia hates the segment, obviously. When this segment came on, she left.
I wanted to, because I hated the segment too. I fucking hate bugs. I hate cockroaches, and this was awful.
Yeah, it was awful. I don't know what was worse, the cockroaches or the fact that it's 1980. Well, I'm sure it's the future in this, but they made this movie in 1982, and Buddy's paying $3,200 for this apartment. And I was like, Jesus, how much money is that now? Like, this is like a $10,000 apartment.
Yeah.
I'd be pissed. $10,000 should get you a cockroach. Yeah, his building that should be cockroach free,
germ free. Remember?
That's right. There's like 7% germ particles.
Yeah.
This guy's a dick too. This guy's just a bad man, bad boss.
He deserved it.
Okay, so I have 2 things that struck me about this.
I'm very interested if one of them is the same thing I've written down. So please go ahead.
Oh, it 100% is. But I was just like, okay, 1982. We have it's giving COVID, Your Honor.
Oh, yeah. I didn't think about that until you just said it, but 100%.
Oh my God. He like his fucking life in his apartment. I literally was looking at it going, when everything shut down in 2020, and I was like literally never left my apartment for like 3 months, except occasionally to buy alcohol. I didn't even buy my own groceries. My friend went every week, and I would like transfer him money, and he'd drop it at my door. I literally the odd time I went out, when I get my groceries, I'd take them in, and I would like fucking wipe them down. And he like fed his little mask into his little like trash compactor or whatever the fuck it is. Everything about it, I was like, this is how I was living in like March to like July of 2020.
Yeah, the fear.
Oh my God. So it was that, and I was like, okay, this is like very like prescient. It's kind of scary.
Oh, I love that word.
Again, we're going for the polysyllabic.
Yes.
But also I was like, ooh, maybe it's just because my mind has been thinking about this a lot lately, like a lot. I was like, somebody call Luigi.
Oh, yes.
I was like, this man is going to get Luigi.
He gets the job
That's
done.
all I'm saying. Like, bats, I was like, the cockroaches were like the bat signal to Luigi. Or maybe they are Luigi. I think metaphorically they are, obviously.
I love when the white guy comes up. Not the actual white guy. His last name's White. I don't know if it was supposed to be ironic that it was a black guy.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And the racist comment.
I just love all the camera angles like in the lens, and it's
the
just
like fisheye window thing.
It's just like his teeth smiling, and he's just being like so sarcastic, and I love that. I'm like, fuck this old guy. Our notes were close. You brought up what one of my notes was, but you didn't actually talk about it.
Okay.
Which was I just had a note that said, I absolutely adore this mini futuristic garbage disposal.
Oh, yeah.
It's just like in the hand of the chair, just sucking everything up.
That little red button, I was like, get me the fucking one of those, like on every surface of my apartment.
Yeah, just amazing.
That's what you needed in Toronto.
Yeah, I don't know about that, because they started coming out of it.
True.
The worst thing about shit like that is if something can go down it.
Yeah.
Something can come up it.
Listen, I'm just telling you the real life horror stories that I've seen them come out of I've seen them come out of like what am I trying to say? The hole in your sink.
Dude, you're giving me
drain.
goosebumps right now. Please stop.
Yeah.
I can't with these fucking cockroaches.
Yeah, I mean, the story is just, creepy. That's what it's about. But, this one, notorious, the lore for this segment, these cockroaches, real cockroaches, there was a cockroach wrangler.
Stop.
That's a job, apparently. And they used real cockroaches, brought them in, and yeah, I was like, ugh. Which I can kind of tell. I mean, they need a lot of cockroaches because there's a lot of different kinds of cockroaches, and I don't think that's actually there are many different cockroaches. I know, like in the Florida, stuff like that. There's actually a podcast that I listen to from Florida, a horror podcast, and it might have been this, they were talking about Creepshow, but they're talking about, like, their experience, because cockroaches are, like, humidity, right? Like, cockroaches like hot, so Florida, obviously, is, like, but their cockroaches are, like, the big, fat, juicy ones, and I remember them talking about, like, like, you'd put your shoes on, and there'd be in your shoe or something.
Oh, Jesus.
The face Jill's making this is the stuff I can't wait until we do video. Yeah, this one, like, they had all different kinds of looking cockroaches. I don't think they all exist together like that. So obviously they had to pull all the cockroaches. I'm not sure who gets that job. That's like grows up and is like, yeah, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to be a cockroach wrangler.
Maybe Jennifer Connelly from Phenomena.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Maybe. But I mean, all these cockroaches lead to that finale of the cockroaches coming out of the old man's body.
Oh, that's
like
so gross.
His orifices and all that kind of
That was classic Savini.
Looks so good. So
like,
good.
Beautiful.
Yeah. As much as I hate cockroaches, I respect how awesome that looked. And just like the blood slowly coming out.
Yeah.
Did Savini work on Halloween 3?
No,
I don't
think so.
Who did that? Because you know what I'm talking about, right? Like when all the bugs and snakes come out.
Yeah.
That's what it reminded me of.
Yeah, it does look like that. But yeah, I mean, maybe Halloween 3 highly influenced by this, because this would have been way before Halloween 3, so...
It's
1982.
Is it the same year?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Why do I think Halloween 3 was like... Yeah, I thought
1988 or something?
Yeah, I thought it was later 80s. But yeah, I guess. Yeah. But yeah, no, I mean, just fantastic work. I mean, if anything you come out of this movie, Tom Savini should be the name that you're like, yeah, he is him, as they say.
He is him. I have not been right since I have A, watched this, and B, read the story the same day, because I feel like I'm itchy all over, and even if my hair is like touching me, I'm like, oh my god, it's a freaking cockroach. Like, I hate it.
Jesus.
We didn't talk about the scene with the bed, the mattress.
Oh.
With the cockroaches. That was another terrifying. Reminded me of Freaky Stories. You guys remember Freaky Stories back in the day? Used to come on YTV.
The like claymation.
Yep. And then it was like
animated. The bugs, and then they told stories. Yeah.
Yep. There was one episode with like bugs in a pillow. And like, you know how you lay on a pillow and you can kind of hear like everything rustling? That scared the shit out of me up until this day. So I kind of got the same feel.
I don't know if it's still on there, but for a long time it was on Tubi. They had all the seasons of it on Tubi.
Freaking love Freaky Stories.
Yeah, that show's fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about the epilogue for this. Obviously, we get Savini's Garbage Man in this. I don't know if it's a better Garbage Man portrayal than Silent Night, Deadly Night 2, but was it 1 or 2, the Garbage Man's 2, isn't it?
That was 2, yeah.
Yeah. So ruined my own Garbage Man joke. But yeah, what did you guys think of this? The voodoo doll, obviously, like, oh, the coupon's cut out. We do see the voodoo doll ad earlier on in the film.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be honest, I like the ending. I kind of wish it was a little like gorier, or he did something else with the voodoo doll. It's pretty tame after everything you've watched, and then especially because the prologue sets him up as like so sinister, the sinister kid.
Yeah.
And then this kid just stabbing the voodoo doll with needles, and the dad's neck hurts, I guess. I don't know.
I'm always I don't know why, but every time I see this, I'm waiting for the 2 Garbage Men. It's because the way that it's shot, it looks like they're gonna like fall into or get sucked into like the compact part of the
that
garbage
would have
truck,
been
and
cool, yeah.
right. And you're talking about bloody and shit, and it would be in line with the rest of the kills and effects and stuff. And I'm always like, when it gets to the end, I'm like, oh yeah, they don't die. But every time I watch it, I go like, wait, do they get squished by this? Because they should. I don't know why. I love them, but they should get squished. It just feels like right,
Mm-hmm.
Like the way they're just standing there,
I was waiting for it
getting
too.
their comeuppance. Yeah, I don't know what their uppance has come for, but I'm sure they did something. Everybody, and that's the thing in this. You say everybody dies and stuff because nobody's hands are clean. Everybody's done something, so everybody's getting revenge or their comeuppance for something, except for them apparently.
So, do we want to, before we rate it, why don't we said we kind of wanted to rank these, see where we were at in terms of the segments. Let's start with your list, Mike. And I'm saying let's go from least favorite to favorite. Let's reveal the favorite at the end.
Okay, so in fifth place, purely because of the way that it's not really a story, is the wraparound story, obviously the epilogue and the prologue. It's fun, but I mean it's obviously only 3 minutes long, so it's fine for what it is. They don't get eaten by the garbage truck, so boo.
Well, that would be sixth place, because I think the wraparound makes 6 segments.
Yeah. No, but it's the same story. They just split it in 2, so I'm calling it 1. So we're saying 5.
No, but there's 5. There's 5 segments, and then there's the wraparound.
Wait. Oh, oops. Okay. So, teehee. Spoiler alert. I just accidentally gave away. So okay, I'll tell you why. No, listen. I'm confusing us, and you'll find out why.
I love it.
So after that, we have Creeping Up on You, just because obviously it's fine. It's fun. It's just bugs, and I can't handle it. Then after that, we have Jordy Verrill, because again, it's fine. Stephen King's a bit wacky and maybe minorly annoying in it, but it's fun. It's got a great aesthetic and a good vibe. Pulling up after Jordy Verrill is Something to Tide You Over. I think it's great. It's very much classic, like Tales from the Crypt, the TV show, the vibe and the story. And I'm cheating, and tied for first place is Father's Day and The Crate. That's why I got the numbers wrong.
Okay.
Because I have 2 number ones.
Oh,
yeah.
okay. All right. That makes sense.
Uh-huh.
I couldn't pick, and frankly, I think Father's Day got a bit shafted because it's so short, so I made them both number 1. Yeah. So, Jill, what about you?
That's fair. Okay, we're twinsies, because at number 5, I also have They're Creeping Up on You, because you friggin' just... it's ruined me. All I can think about are cockroaches, and I can feel bugs crawling on me. And I didn't think the story was that interesting. I don't know why I'm explaining it. We just said we weren't going to. 5, They're Creeping Up on You.
I did too. Oops.
4 for me is Something to Tide You Over. That might be controversial. I'm sorry. 3 is The Crate. 2 is The Lonesome Death of Jordy Verrill. I'm sorry. I like it.
Surprised on 1.
Number 1 is Father's Day.
Yes, Queen.
Rowan?
Yeah, so obviously, like Mike, if there was a 6th spot, I'd put the wraparound there because it doesn't really count. So number 5 for me, The Lonesome Death of Jordy Verrill. I really didn't like that one whatsoever. Then number 4, They're Creeping Up on You. Number 3, Father's Day.
What?
Number 2, The Crate. And then number 1 for me is Something to Tide You Over. I think I would pay $60 for a 4K of just that segment, and I'd be happy, I'd be pleased. I think it's just like chef's kiss. I love that segment. So yeah, that's my order for them. So that's interesting. We all had pretty much different stuff. So
it's cool.
I like that we didn't all come up the same. So with that, let's land the plane and get into rating Creepshow. So if you're new to the program, our rating system is nay, okay, yay, or slay. Jill, this was your pick. What would you give Creepshow?
So I really loved Creepshow. It was a good time. It was kind of everything that I expected from it. I think my biggest issue with Creepshow is that not all of the segments are equally as strong. And I was kind of comparing this to Trick or Treat. Trick or Treat, I would slay. And I love every single segment. I think it comes together very well, and it's very harmonious. And You don't really get that with Creepshow. It's just like 5 take it or leave it kind of tales. So yeah, that's really my only issue with it. So I'm going to give it a yay. What about you, Rowan?
Yeah, like I said, I mean, I can kind of find something in all of these segments except for the lonesome death of Jordy Verrill.
Oh my God.
I really don't like that one. But this is one that, like you said, like Trick or Treat, I probably grab more often for an like. There's other anthology horror movies that I watch more often than this one. But that's not to take anything away from it. Because like I said, every time I watch this, I kind of rediscover how much I love it. And this is like pretty high, but it's not like the upper echelons for me. So I'm also going to give it a yay. And I mean, to me, just even if it had 10 segments and they all sucked, as long as Something That Tied You Over was in this, I would probably at least give it a yay. I like Leslie Nielsen that much in this, and I love the music. I love the architecture of that house. I just love that.
And his sweater.
Yes, the sweater, fantastic. I love that entire segment. I'm going to give it a yay. Mike, what would you give it?
Oh, wow. Let's round it out with another yay. I really enjoy this. I love anthology films as a rule anyway, but there's something about the kind of classic ones. Like I wrote in my Letterboxd review, it's simple pleasures. And it's just, I grew up watching the Tales from the Crypt TV show late at night. And obviously they are from the same source material. So I always had a soft spot for these like morality and revenge tales where it's just like kind of very straightforward. And I love that. I love that it's simple. It's just straightforward. They're just little monster tales. Everyone's rotten. Everyone dies. There's a little bit of camp humor thrown in. It's just perfection. I love the vibe. I love the aesthetic. I think the lighting is great. I think the little frames are great. The effects, everything. It's just, yeah, it's such a yay. I love it. I can't wait to watch it in 4K. I'm so jealous, Rowan.
Yeah, I didn't even bring that up that I watched it in 4K, and it looks awesome. It looks so good. And I'm glad that I think quite a few people have the 4K around now, just because I know, during Halloween time, Walmart kind of partners up with Scream Factory, and they kind of make their Blu-rays and 4Ks a little more readily available around those times. And I think this was like $20, $25, like, so it was way discounted compared to what it normally is, that you could just pick it up there. Yeah, so if you can, hopefully if Colton gave it a yay, we'd have 4 yays. We'd all agree on something. So that would be amazing. So we told you what we thought about the film, and we asked you what you thought about it, and we got a couple responses. We might have actually only got one response, I believe. And we had Timmy 1979 from Slasher, and they wrote, I preferred part 2. I might have a little bias because that was the first one I watched on VHS, and not just VHS, but taped off of HBO.
Oh, damn.
Nice.
Yeah, I do love being
That's
a
real.
good,
That's so real.
Good taped off movie. I think I had Evil Dead, Howard the Duck. Those were all movies I had like taped off. 2, I don't remember a lot of segments off of 2. I remember the raft one, and I think that might be all I really remember. But I remember a couple other ones. But I don't think that's a controversial opinion. I think the second one is very liked. Maybe more so than the first one. I don't overly remember it though, so I can't really comment on it.
We'll have to do it sometime.
Yes, I mean, I'm sure it'll come up now that you've opened the Creepshow box. We have to finish them all, and we do have some other responses here. So on Facebook, our boy Demon Knight wrote that just every time that wonderful Billy Zane profile picture from Demon Knight. They said, I saw this one at an early age. It was probably a little too early. It ranks high on the nostalgia scale for me, and for that reason, it slays. So, yeah, I mean, I can definitely see if this is kind of like a childhood gateway horror for you. It's like any of that stuff. You're going to hold it very high. And very high regards. So it seems like everyone's around, or around what we feel about it. With that, we do have a horrific hotline message from Nicholas. So let's go over and see what Nicholas has to say about Creepshow.
So Creepshow is, for me, the definition of a mixed bag, because there are some episodes in the movie that I really enjoy and some that I just don't like all too much. So let me first start by saying that I'm surprised at the cast, because I did not remember Tom Atkins and Ed Harris and Adrienne Bobo. There are many faces in this movie that are just known that I totally forgot. I only knew that Leslie Nielsen is in the movie, and I have to say I really enjoyed his episode, so to say, with the beach. It was morbidly funny, and I don't know, it stuck the landing for me. I also like the very cheesy The Great episode with the university, in the way that it is like a B-movie schlocky monster thing. I like that one. I don't like the insect one though. Not sure why. Insects, I think they're disgusting, but in this episode didn't really work for me. And there is one thing that really drags the movie down for me a bit. That is that I feel like Romero was held back by the studio, the audience, anyone, I'm not sure, but thinking of his very violent zombie movies that have just the best special effects for the type of movie they are, and also some meaner movies like Martin or Stephen King's The Dark Half, there is something missing, some edge to the movie is missing. Maybe it is more family friendly, so to say, not for kids, but more for teenagers. Maybe that was the thing he's going for. But in Germany, this movie was until recently rated 18 and couldn't be seen like fully uncut, except if you have connections to Austria or United Kingdom to get an uncut copy of the movie. So maybe it's my expectations to the movie. But in the pantheon of George A. Romero movies, especially his movies from the 70s and 80s, this one is just not up there. It is still, well, I'm not sure if I feel comfortable giving it only an okay, so it's somewhere between an okay and a very weak yay. But I just expected more of the movie. That being said, I am planning to watch Creepshow 2 because I already read that there is a very cool episode called The Raft or something that's supposed to be pretty scary. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. And if nothing else, I think Creepshow was the one that kind of brought Stephen King and Romero together. And while it is a bit too long, I do enjoy The Dark Half a lot. And I think that's something great out of this movie.
So another yay?
Yeah, I mean, essentially, Nicholas, it sounds like you're, okay, yay territory. So, I mean, I think that's all right. I can see this. If you're an adult, right, this is probably, I think nostalgia has a lot to play in this for, like, a real passion for this movie, as if you've seen it when you were younger. But I feel, Nicholas, you were pretty much spot on with that. I do know in his email, he was talking about different, I'm just bringing it up now. He's talking about like the different German cuts of it. He was saying that the German version is missing basically all of the violence in it, and as well as one of the segments is completely cut out. He didn't say what segment it was, and he said maybe that's why I expected some more gore in this one. So he was saying that he might have to rewatch it down the road with a fresh perspective and like watch, I'm assuming, a non-German version of it. I know he did want to know, he said he forgot to say it in the voicemail, but he wanted to know if everybody was more of a Night of the Living Dead or a Dawn of the Living Dead fan in terms of Romero.
It's a good question.
Probably Night.
Also Night.
I think he forgot something. He forgot Day of the Dead, which I think is, I actually like Day of the Dead better than Dawn of the Dead. I just absolutely, and that might be because that's the first Romero movie I ever saw. I just have like the soundtrack for that also fantastic. The score for Day of the Dead is so good with like the calypso drums and stuff. Oh,
yeah,
so good. So good.
I like them all, but I think I talked about this not too long ago. Night of the Living Dead is just such a classic.
Yeah. So if you want to call in like Nicholas and leave us a voicemail to play on an episode, it doesn't have to be about the movie. You can just ask a question or just let the world know, whatever. You can do so by just messaging us or emailing us. It's slatespodcast@gmail.com. You can always just send us a message on social media or anything. Any way to get us a recording of your voice, and we will make sure to play it on the next episode. And if you're not doing so now, you can follow us on any of our social media at It's Slate's Podcast. We're on Facebook, Bluesky, Letterboxd, Slash, or Tumblr, Threads. I'm probably forgetting 8 million other ones. I'm starting to get a Reddit going too. I'm just setting it up. We'll see how that goes. TikTok sometimes. Yeah, we're everywhere. Just follow us at It's Slate's Podcast. And Gill, why don't you let everyone know how they can become a horror hound?
Yeah, if you want to be really cool and join the ranks of our horror hounds like Holly, Nicholas, Sacrotype, Dan, Brian, Trevor, and James, head on over to our Patreon at patreon.com/itslayspodcast and choose the tier that works best for you. Perks include early access to episodes of our main show and access to our Patreon exclusive show, Stream Screams, as well as the ability to pick a movie for us to review. Now, I think we had a couple of bangers, that synth banger, and then a couple of songs on the jukebox. Are any of those going to be making it to our spooky playlist?
Yeah, I mean, I think the Shining one is already on the playlist.
Okay.
But yeah, that banger one from the Tide one is going to have to be on there. There's definitely a couple jams in this. So you can find out if they made it on the list by going to Spotify to the It's Slate's Podcast Horrific playlist. If you have any problems finding it, you can go to any of the social media that I just talked about. Go into the bio, click the Linktree link. It'll take you directly there. We upload scores and licensed music from iconic horror movies we review, or just horror movies we love. So we update it regularly. Hit follow. Get your spooky music on, because why the hell not? Last but not least, we have to announce our upcoming pick, and it is a Colton pick. He wasn't here, but he left us a voicemail to let us know what we'll be watching. So let's hit it on over to Colton and see what he has to say.
Hello, horror hounds, and if you're hearing this, it means I've missed our discussion on Creepshow. It's been a few years since I've seen it myself, but I remember it being pretty great. Probably somewhere in between a yay and a slay for me.
There we go.
Anyways, I'm here to announce my pick for our next episode. And I'm not going to lie, since Rowan opened up a dangerous can of worms a few weeks back, I did consider choosing Jurassic Park 3. But I don't think the rest of the gang is ready to discuss talking raptors on a plane just yet.
Hell no.
With that in mind, there was only really one choice that made sense. It's a little bit more of a recent release. I believe Rowan and I even already covered it on Now Slaying. But with that, I think it's finally time to have it out on the main show and discuss Lisa Frankenstein.
Hell yeah. Let's go. Finally came to your senses.
Is what I would say if I had terrible fucking taste. That movie sucks, bro. Ain't no way I'm ever picking that. Instead, I'm picking the Austrian film from 2014, Goodnight Mommy, or as Nicholas would say it, Ixie? I don't know. Something like that. Anyways, 2014, Goodnight Mommy. Goodbye.
I love hearing Colton say mommy so many times.
Yeah, really. Just getting his mommy kink out there.
Doing us dirty like
it's
that.
It's almost like you're in his bedroom.
So yeah, Goodnight Mommy. Get your eyes on that. Put it in your eye holes. We'll be back in 2 weeks, and I'm sure Colton will be back for that one. So as always, thank you for all the support. I'm your humble host, Rowan.
Bye, it's Mike.
Bye, it's Jill.
See you later.